What's up, everybody? It's Tales from the Green Room, episode 156, I think. I think it's episode 156. If not, we'll correct it on the title. What's up, Brandon Hardesty? How you doing, dude?
What's up, man? I feel like I've been on this podcast more than anyone else at this point.
I love it because you're the guy that, like, when I'm like, hey, I need to try something on the podcast. You want to jump on? You're like, yeah, let's go. It's fucking great. Oh, man. Dude, big year for Bumpin' Uglies, man.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
I'm really excited for you guys. I'm so fucking happy for you guys, dude. Like, just seeing all the this whole fall tour for you guys was insane. I'm seeing sellout tags on every, a lot of the shows, a lot of the posts, like that's the dream right there, bro. And they just sold out the fucking soundstage for your sweater party.
Yeah, man, fucking thousand people. It was heavy. It was really fucking cool, man. Man,
that's so cool, dude. So it was one of those things. You only had a few tickets before doors. You were doing like a low ticket warning. Like, I'm sure that was a really insane feeling.
Yeah, it was pretty. Honestly, it was like, I don't have fun at those shows. I don't know how you feel about it, but like the big hometown shows, those are like, I love them, but they're the most stressful for me because it's like everybody, it's like people you grew up with and people you've known your whole life. And it's like you have this thing that you do and that like most people don't see. They see on like social media and stuff, but then they actually get to see it like there. So it's like you want it to like go a certain way. So then you're just thinking about that instead of like playing the music, like it's.
Yeah.
So like a big part of that, like with that, just headspace in general, a big thing for me was like, if this show gets fucking 30 tickets away from selling out and doesn't sell out, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Like I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, so I was just anxious about that. Like it didn't sell out till like an hour and a half after doors, So like once it did sell out, I was like, all right, fuck yeah. But I was kind of nervous about it all day.
I mean, I get where I totally understand what you're feeling. We had that thing with we played the Wrecker a couple weeks ago, and it was like the big hometown show. And we didn't do our Halloween show this year because we were on the tour with Howi, but hopefully we'll get back to it next year. But we sold out last year, and then this time it's really hard to like focus on the big shows like when you're on tour because you're promoting like 40 shows,
Yeah.
But anyway, we got to the Wrecker and there was like about 100 tickets, a little less than 100 tickets left before doors or right at doors. And we ended up we were like 70 away. We were like 77 tickets away or something like that from a sellout. And so I get the feeling you're like, dude, we're almost there. It's got to sell out. And then it didn't. And I was a little bit like stressed about it. I was like frustrated, but at the same time, I was like 700 people showed up. It's like,
yeah,
it's pretty fucking cool. Like had there been no, guest lists and things like that, we'd have been a little bit closer. But that's why we try to like tell our friends, like, buy tickets, bro. Like, you support. And like every time fans buy a ticket early or they get the show sold out or close to sold out, it makes the band look good to the promoter or to the venue. And it's like, they'll want to bring you back and they're excited to push your show next time. And it just makes the whole thing look good. So I always push like, hey, buy tickets, man. Buy tickets early. If you're going to go, buy tickets. If you can swing it. I know things are a little crazy these days with inflation and stuff, but, but the fact is, like, you guys put 1,000 people in the room. So if you put 970 in there, it wasn't going to be that big a deal, but I totally feel it.
The thing is, though, is that like I'm on like I got like a 5-year plan in mind where I like eventually like I want our Baltimore shows to be at Pier 6, you know what I mean, or like whatever the fuck they call it now.
Yeah, it's Pier 6 again.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I gotta and then there's steps to get there, but like the first step was like we needed to sell out soundstage. So like if we hadn't sold out soundstage, like once you sell it out, it's like, oh man, we could be worth 2,500 tickets in the market. You know what I mean? Like realistically, we may, if it was a bigger cap, we probably would have sold like 1,015 tickets, maybe. You know what I mean? But like no one knows that because it was sold out. But the point is, like, if we hadn't sold it out, it probably would have been another year that I would have had to wait to take that first step. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you can replicate that 2 or 3 more times, you can fill out the amphitheater at that point. I think it's like 3,500 there, or 4,000, something like that.
It's 5,000.
Is it 5,000?
Okay. I've talked about it with my team, and like realistically, what we need to do is like we need to move up to Ram's Head live, and then we need to get to the point where we're selling that out before doors, like significantly. Like we need to sell that out a few years in a row, and then like the last year we do it needs to be like sold out probably like a week in advance. Yeah. And then when we're ready to make that jump to Pier 6, we just need to get like a fucking huge package to go in there,
Yeah, I would say like maybe it's when the time comes when you're doing 2 sold out nights at Ram's Head, it's time to move up.
Yeah,
that would be great. I think what's Ram's Head, like 1,800, 2,000?
Yeah, it's like 1,600 or 1,800. So it's really not that big of a jump.
It's not. We've played Ram's Head. I mean, our Halloween show at Ram's Head, about 10 years ago, we did our zombie night, zombie prom there. I think 2012.
We played that one.
You did play that, yeah. And that was insane. Like those, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And you guys have definitely demonstrated that. It's been awesome to see. What do you think is the secret sauce, man? Like, what do artists need to do to get there?
I mean, like, it just in regards to just this one thing, like the Baltimore show, because like the thing is like we're probably not even. I don't think we're worth 1,000 tickets in Baltimore necessarily. Like I shouldn't say that, but like a big reason why that show does so well is because it's like our big show of the year. It's like the branding like is just like a no brainer. It's like we're bumping uglies and we're doing an ugly sweater party. Like that's fucking a layup.
If anybody was going to do it, it'd have to be you guys.
Yeah. So like that's like having like a cool event, but then like on top of that, like making it, really just making it a cool event. So that way it's like, there's people from like 20 different states that traveled to go to that show. So it's like, it's not all just, I'd say it was probably 75% Maryland people, but then there was people from all over the country that traveled because A, it was like a big event for us. And B, we put together a slamming package, that people wanted to see. Like there's a lot of like synergy between us and Trop and the JO boys. So like, people like it wasn't just like bumping uglies with support, like it was like a fucking bill that like everybody wanted to check out.
That's awesome. Like I definitely, it's a great strategy, like getting together, like especially like bands like in the scene that a lot of people are excited about. It's been awesome watching Trop grow as well. Like those guys are another band that have just been killing it the last couple of years, and their record did really well, and just seeing the excitement of like this new. It's not, we all know we're not new. Everybody's been around for a while, but there's a new blood coming up.
Yeah,
and it's across the country, but especially on the east side. You're seeing a lot of bands on the East Coast. And we'll call Trop East Coast. Maybe they're North Coast.
They're East Coast as far as I'm concerned. I mean, like, for me, it's just like a matter of like, historically speaking, this whole genre has been based out of Southern California. And like, that was kind of like the model that a lot of people have done is like either they move out to Southern California to like tap into that thing, or they just try to like tap into it as best as they can, whether it's like through touring or like features or just like whatever. It's like a matter of just like, that's where the thing is. Let's become part of that. Whereas like just organically speaking, like there is a lot of pockets around the country where this shit is popping up, and you just see it based off like the ticket sales. I mean, like Everwild, like Trop's festival is like blowing people's mind because like historically speaking, like the Midwest wasn't like something people thought about for like tours. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, like they call it like, it's like the flyover section. Like people weren't even like hitting it. But like for us, like we've been playing with Trop for almost 10 years at this point. Like Cleveland's been one of our best markets for a long time. Like we've known people in Ohio like love this shit. So it's like we've leaned into that. But like Everwild, they brought out the Dirty Heads. Like they did like they're the first people in the Midwest to put on like a big reggae rock event, and people are seeing now like, holy shit, like people out here are buying tickets like this. It's not San Diego, it's not like the LA area, but like people out here love this shit. So it's like that's and it's like that all over the country. You know, there's people that just like this music, and yeah, it's just been cool. It's been cool being a part of that and kind of like just doing our own thing, you know.
I think that yeah, you kind of tapped into this here, but like one of the big things is that you have different communities, little pockets growing themselves around the country, particularly, you know, Ohio area and then Baltimore area and, you know, Florida and Southeast and all that. Like you have these communities that are building, and you're basically like conditioning people around you in that area to, you know, to get familiar with these bands and these songs. And like, I don't know how many times I've like seen people from high school that I graduated with, and I'm like, they're listening to, you know, Revolution or Stick Figure or Cashed Out or something. Like, how do you know these bands? Like, to me, that blows my mind, because they're not on the radio, and you know, like people don't really listen to radio anymore. I guess older people do maybe, but people my age, like people 30s and 40s, it's like, how do you know about these bands? You know, and it just to me, it's a testament to how much it's grown, obviously, in the last 10 years. Because I remember calling HFS when Slightly Stupid was coming to Record Theater in 2004, I think it was. And I was like, hey, can you play, you know, whatever song by Slightly Stupid? And they're like, who's that? Who's Slightly Stupid? And now these bands are like selling out Pier 6, and I'm hearing them on people's playlists, and I'm seeing people at these shows when I go, and like around here, when the band actually has off and like we can catch a show at Pier 6 or something. Like, I'm seeing these people that I went to school with. I'm like, how do you know, you know? And really that's a testament of like the bands in the area growing the scene and providing a place for these bigger bands to come through, you know, and see that there's something actually happening, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it was when we went to St. Louis. Like, we used to go to St. Louis all the time, and it was like bust every time. And then we were on the way out to go tour with Pepper back in 2011, and we stopped there on the way to make a little money. And there's like 3 reggae rock bands opening for us, and the place is packed. We're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, a year before it wasn't like that. It's just, you know, these bands, you just keep growing your scene and making noise, and then you'll attract all that. And that's what happened in Florida, you know, like,
yeah.
And that's what's happening in Ohio, you know. It's like, and you got Nelson Ledges and all that stuff, like really boosting that scene. It's wild.
Well, it's the mid-Atlantic too, is like, and I mean, like, y'all like are a big part of that. We're a big part of that. Mm-hmm. You know, Pasadena was a big part of that. You know, I think, you know, Joint Operation isn't reggae rock, but I mean, like, they're part of that. Higher Ed, like, there's just like Harbor Boys. You know, I don't want to forget them. Like,
and now Adam Almany. I'm seeing people singing Adam Almany songs.
yeah. But it's like, if you provide the things for, like, people, live music is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? And if people get to do that, like, it's like a drug. Like, they're going to want more of it. So if they get to do it on the regular, it's going to become a thing, you know, and then it just grows. And that's happening out here. And like, the flavor of it is like this, it doesn't, you know, it's reggae rock is like a greater genre, but it's like, there's no formula to that shit. Like, I really do think we do it like way different over here.
It's way different.
Yeah, but people love it. Like, it's still like, it's fun and it's good. And that's like the soundtrack to people's live music experience, you know? And you're right. Like, it's like Ohio has that, like a big part of that is Trop, you know, like, New England has it, like elevators are crushing it up there. There's just like this, there's this whole, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, it's new blood, and it's kind of like a new wave of things. And, it's exciting.
It's very exciting. It's great to see, you know, because you've got the you know, the typical, like, the bigger name, like, you know, Cali reggae bands, you know, that are headlining all the festivals all the time and stuff. And I think we're definitely moving into a point where people are excited about these new bands. You know, in their eyes, they're new. You know, we've all been doing it for years, but you know, and we're definitely not new. Ballyhoo, we've been doing it for fucking years, and we have this career that kind of comes and goes in waves. You know, and maybe that happens for every band, but it's like we'll we'll be climbing, things are popping, and then it kind of plateaus, and then sometimes dips, and then it starts climbing again. It's like this weird, every couple of years, something happens. You know, everything that I've seen you guys doing and Tropodelic, it's like, that's all stuff that we were doing back in the day. It's just, you see that natural process happening. It's fucking rad to see like you guys growing and then being able to put that many people on soundstage. That's not easy. Like bringing people to the city is not easy. That was something that we actually moved the show from soundstage because, and back to record, you know, thankfully they opened back up, because the record was the poppin' place. That was a place where we started selling out consistently, you know, 15 years ago. And then, they closed down back in 2013, I guess about 10 years ago. And, you know, we moved everything to soundstage, and it was like the shows were getting less and less attended every year, and we're pumping them, you know, we're like, what the hell's going on? And I'm starting to realize like, fuck, this shit's like in the city, and like people don't want their kids going to the city necessarily. It's just a harder sell.
Yeah.
And when we play a record, it's just like, boom, it's like built in, you know, you still got to work for it, obviously, but yeah. So soundstage got like, and everybody, the venue's cool and the staff was always cool. Just like the shows just weren't popping anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, you guys are very fortunate to have something like the record. Like, I mean, it's like in your backyard too, you know, it just that's a no brainer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much, we call it a hometown show, you know, just cause it's been, you know, it's like 35 minutes from my house, but you know, anything around here is going to be like a little bar, and it's, you know, it's just not the vibe. But
yeah, for sure.
But no, this place is full production, and they're great, you know. And as I said before, soundstage is awesome too. It's just got super weird there for a couple of years. But yeah, I love seeing it, man. So let's talk about the record. Let's talk about fucking Mid-Atlantic Dub. It took like, I remember when you guys were when you're about to release it, I was like, oh shit, we started working on this record a year ago. This was, you know, September of 21. And here it is. It's coming out. And you definitely, I feel like this was definitely like your biggest rollout for a record of all time. You guys really pushed it, and you made a point to tell me that you were like gonna pull out all the stops. like you were there was nothing was, leave no stone unturned. Like, I don't care how annoying this gets, people are gonna know this record's coming out. Like, I love it, man. And it did well.
Yeah. I just had I had a lot of, I had just like a feeling, like I kind of noticed, like really it was like once touring came back. I mean, like you've done so many records with us at this point. And, like, you've seen me as a songwriter. I'm like all over the place. Like I write like a lot of different shit. Like I like the rock and shit. I love like folk and country. Like I love hip hop. I love like reggae rock. And I've always wanted to like do all of it. And I intend to always write and record whatever I want. But like, just like strictly speaking on like the reception from not just like Uglies fans, but like the community that we're in, which is this like American reggae thing. Like just looking from the reception in like both streaming and then the live setting, you know, like it's never like we got like booed off stage or anything, but like a lot of the difference, like, you know, like the rock and stuff doesn't always hit. Like sometimes it does hit if it's the right room. The country stuff, it doesn't really hit a lot. The shit that was like hitting, like the reggae rock stuff is always like, it's low hanging fruit. Like if you write a catchy reggae rock song, it's going to do well for the most part. But like the shit that was like really hitting was the hip hop stuff. And then the ska stuff, you know, and like that, I kind of, you know, I started thinking about that a lot. Like the common denominator there is that like, it's all stuff you can dance to, you know. It's all like the hip hop shit's got like that boom bat to it. So you can nod your head and whatever, but it's all like a party, and it's all stuff you can dance to. So like what I wanted to do is make a record that like just leaned into that strong point. Like before this record, like our best release was Beast from the East. And that was like a very similar vibe where it was like hip hop kind of sounding. It was still a little weirder where it wasn't, you know, like shit like Apathy and the show must go on and like other stuff. It was just like a little weirder, but still like it was like a lot of like the reggae hip hop thing. So I kind of I wanted to just make a record that had that vibe to it and really swing for the fences. And I also wanted to like really lean into like this new world of like what we were talking about, like the fact like there's all this like really talented shit that's out of Southern California, you know what I mean? Like these people that we've met through touring over the last 10 years, and kind of just like make a collections of songs that like showcased all these up and coming bands and like friends that we've made, you know? And yeah, and then, you know, once it was created, I was just swinging for the fences with it. I'm going to market the fuck out of this. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to just really swing for the fences. And I believe in this record. Like I had a theory. I was like, I think if we do this, it's going to go well. And, you know, the music's one part of it. And then the next part is like the marketing, you know, and all that other things. Like, what are you going to do to make people hear it? So like, once we made the record, I mean, I remember like being in the studio and like, you know, we were talking about at one point, like, yeah, like this is the shit. Like, this is some catchy shit here. So like, once you make it, it's like, all right, well now we need to make people hear it. So just making all the videos, doing all the marketing, doing all the things, you know, and it's going well. I really think the success of the fall tour in big part was because of the record and the buzz behind the record. And I mean, like, there was buzz behind the band in general, but like when you put out a record that's like exciting and people want to hear it, it compels them to buy tickets and come check it out, you know?
Yeah. It has like all the things, you know, like you're checking the boxes, like you already had the buzz, you know, and that's just from you guys putting in the work over the last, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, like really going in. You're getting people's attention. You're like, all right, hey, look over here. And now they're like, okay, what are you going to do? You know, dance, clown. And
yeah.
and so, but so you had that, you had your audience teed up. And the record, has great songs. Some of your best shit, in my opinion. And the artwork has this kind of iconic feel to it, you know? And then it was just the excitement, the general excitement, you know, and then your fucking Uglies Nation Facebook group is insane. They're fucking animals, you know, like just hungry and super, they're your cheerleaders, man. It's really cool to see that. And that's something that's really special. You know, it's like, it's hard to build, you know, lifers, that many lifers, you know, people that'll do anything for you to, you know, people that push you to their friends and, you know, they're going to all the shows and like they're, you know, we have that as well. But you guys have certainly been a great example of what it is to stay connected and, be engaging and, you know, get people excited. And it's just awesome to see. And that right there, you've got this awesome built-in thing that you can drop anything to, you know, any sort of, you know, whether it's a pin or a new shirt or a new record or a new video or something, your fans are going to go gobble it up, you know, because they know it helps you. They know it. They're supporting you directly. And that's what I love about independent music, you know, and being
the thing
able to
is
connect.
with that, like, that's been like, I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the only reason we have anything is because of like the support of the fans. And then specifically like that huge like family and like fan group. That's, I mean, like they've quite literally like financed this whole operation. Like, and then like, they've also, yeah, like they've helped it spread. And I just like, it's like literally the most valuable thing in this whole, like that's the reason it exists is the fan group. And, a big part of that, it's such like a symbiotic relationship because like the reason that I think it works for us is because of how much we appreciate them. And I think, I just think there was like a void in a lot of ways for like what people wanted, like the accessibility, you know, and just the appreciation. Like there's a lot of bands that like just, they have this like aloofness to them. And they just like separation and just don't want to, it's almost like a sense of entitlement. Like, oh, we're fucking dope. Like, you know what I mean?
This
like
is supposed to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fans are here for us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we're fucking awesome. It's like, no, I mean, yeah, like, you know, you're the ones making the music and stuff, but like people aren't just a fucking commodity. Like they're people and they want to be treated like people. And it's like the easiest thing in the world to just like talk to someone and like show them a little bit of appreciation and like, I don't know. And it's like, it's something I realized like early on. It's a lot of it too is just like my own feelings of like, just like shittiness, for lack of a better word, when I was just like rejected by people. Like, you know, I would ask like the simplest thing and I would just be like ignored or whatever. It's like, well, that sucks, you know? And then you get to a point where you can start like doing that to someone else, you know what I mean? It's like, well, no, I'm just going to give you like a minute of my time and like, so you don't feel like a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then you realize like how much that means to people. And then like, I don't know. I feel like every decision I've ever made since then has just been like trying to make people feel valued and appreciated and included. And it's like, yeah, like we're the ones making the music, but this whole thing is a product of the sum of the parts, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't be here without your fans. Like that's something that we've, you know, sworn by. I remember being on MySpace in the mid 2000s. It's just like replying to every DM. Dude, we'd spend like fucking 8 hours. I'd be on there 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, just DMing people back, you know, and hitting up comments and replying and stuff because I saw the value in it. And I saw that like, God, I would fucking love if Billy Joe Armstrong was talking to me in the comments,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, not that I'm anything close to that, you know, Billy Joe Armstrong, but like there are people that look up to us like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, when you give them a moment of your time, that's important. It's important to them. They appreciate it. And, it's really a bummer when you hear these stories of, of, you know, celebrities or artists or whatever that they're like opposite of that, you know? And some people look mad. You don't know what kind of day somebody's having. I get it, you know, and sometimes there's nights where I just don't want to talk to anybody, you know, because I'm depressed or my shit's crazy, you know, but
I thought a lot about this, and like what I think it is that I think a lot of musicians in general like suffer from social anxiety. Like if you think about it, it's like musicians are fucking dorks, like for the most part. Like like we're all like gear nerds and just like introverts kind of. And then you get to this thing, you get good at this thing, and then you get like good at being on stage and like peacocking and like putting on a show. But that's not, it's like a lot of it's like learned behavior as opposed like just speaking like about like personally, like I was like not comfortable being on stage at all. Like I learned how to like do a lot of things and I'm still figuring it out. You know, there's definitely like exceptions to that where people who are like natural performers, but I think a lot of musicians like are socially anxious. And so like eventually it becomes like overwhelming, and then they lean into just like the aloofness and like the superiority thing as a way of just like not dealing with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a coping mechanism or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously that comes off the wrong way to people, you know, 'cause they don't understand it. I know a guy that's very, very introverted. Doesn't really, it's not that he won't talk to fans, but he'd rather not. And I guess he feels cornered, and it's just, you know, and I've seen people, oh, that guy's a dick, you know, it's like, he's not a dick, man. He's just like, doesn't fucking know how to do this. You know, he doesn't enjoy it. And it comes to like, there's a part of that, like we were doing, you know, merch table since the beginning. I mean, this band has been playing shows since fucking 1996, but you know, we'll go hang out and all that stuff. Right. And we did that, you know, we started touring 16, almost 17 years ago. And every night we're going to the merch table, we're doing a thing, you know, and then, you know, we'd be out there oh God, drinking and taking shots and fucking, drunk guy spitting in your face and high-fiving you 7 times and asking the same question over and over again. It's like, and it's all part of it. Right. But then, COVID dropped and like when everything came back, we're like, well, we made a point to like just stay on the bus and then go to the stage and go back to the bus because we didn't want to get sick. Of course, half the bus
and then
gets sick anyway.
And then you get used to it.
Yeah, then you get used to it. Yeah, you get used to it. But it was like, it also got down to like, it's like, I'm an older dude now, older gentleman, sophisticated, distinguished, and I can't drink like I used to, for one, and I don't want to drink like I used to, for two, and then it gets harder to maintain the voice. Like I've had a couple nights, especially when it's like when you got a lot of friends in that town or you're playing hometown and there's like all the families there, like you mentioned earlier, like those are definitely the worst shows, like, cause you're having to like host and cater and like,
yeah.
And so you don't not want to be talking and stuff, but like, yeah, like a couple times where like I'm talking before the show and sure enough, I'm losing my voice halfway through the set. And it's just like, that's a real thing. I can't be out there anymore. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I would like to think that, anybody new that's coming along, they're not seeing that we have done that for the last 15, 16 years. They're not seeing that. So they may see us as like, oh, those guys are dicks. They don't come out and talk. They don't fucking hang out like these other bands do. So that bothers me a little bit. It's like, cause I want to connect with people. I want to show that we are personable.
But then like the way you engage with people on social media and stuff, I think kind of like fills that void. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not engaging with people at all, but like, it's a very understandable thing,
I would like to think that people see it,
The same thing happened for us, dude. Literally the same exact thing happened. Like COVID killed the merch table thing for us. And it was like, it started with COVID and then it was like, whoa, it's just like really nice. Like not, and we just didn't go back to it. And,
yeah,
it's what it is. Like, but like, dude, the way I try to do it is like, I just make a point of like bouncing around the room throughout the night. Like, you know what I mean? I'll go out like to the audience and like watch all the bands like for a little bit, like a couple songs. And, like I if it's like at soundstage, like I put my like my hood up and I fucking had like my hat on forward. So I was kind of like incognito, but then it's like you're a leprechaun, you know what I mean? So it's like, if people catch you, they're like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? You take a picture with them and you do the thing. And it's like,
there's these moments where it's like, some of these venues, they don't have proper, like, there's no green room that leads to the stage. Like you got to like walk through the crowd to get to the green room kind of stuff, like things like that. Or it's like a big area and you got to walk all the way over here and around a fence, and it's like, I'm trying, I walk really fast. I'm a tall dude, this. I walk really fast. And if there's people in front of me, like the other band guys, they're not walking fast enough. Everybody's fucking looking at me and trying to come over to me. And I know that if one person gets me, because I can't fucking say no. I'm not going to be like, oh no, sorry. I'll be like, yeah, man, let's do it real quick. Do a picture, and then all of a sudden I get mobbed by 30 other people. Now there's bands that would kill for that. I completely understand that. We've been growing this for a long time, but it's just like, fuck, man. Like I get stuck, and there it is. I'm losing the voice. It's just when you got like 40 dates to do in a row, man. It's just like I try not to talk. Yeah, that's just how I am anymore. I'm playing video games or I'm writing, I'm doing something, watching a movie. I don't fucking talk anymore. And I got to a point where I was like, we've been doing this for so long, and I know that you still have to put in the work no matter what. But like, the way that I engage, the way that I'm always accessible, whether that's a DM or replying to comments or like sending people videos or whatever. It's like, how much more of myself do I have to give? Like, how much more do I have to give to people? It's like, I'm giving you everything. That's how I feel in most of the time. And I don't want to feel like you're going to think I'm an asshole, that if I don't come talk to you or get a picture with you or something like that. And I would never say no. I would never, if somebody gets me, I'm never going to say no. But it's like, I don't want it to be something where it's like, expected that we're going to go out there every night and do that thing. It's like part of the VIP package is that reason. It's like, come see us before the show when we're fresh and, it's a more chill situation and I'm not yelling and, I had a girl on the bus VIP last month. She's like, oh yeah, I remember last year when I could get a picture with you and I didn't have to pay $100.
Like you can still get a picture. It's just you got to catch me. Like I'm like a fucking Pokemon in the wild. You just gotta find me. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I'm not gonna charge you for a picture. Like, but
100%. And that's why all those years we didn't do VIPs, because I was like, fuck that. We do this anyway. We do this at the end of the night. We go out to the merch table and we take pictures. I'm not charging people for a picture or a signature. Like that's crazy to me. And I see these bands doing it. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. I remember being real punk rock about it. Like that's ridiculous.
At the same time, though, there's value to it, and it's like I
see
think
it now.
A lot of and dude. I mean, the VIP shit like changed everything for us, bro. Like it's made everything like so much more sustainable, and like I think a big part of it. You're not charging for VIP. You're not charging for a picture. You're charging for an experience, and it's like you guys go above and beyond. There's bands that make it like fucking cattle call where they are charging for a picture and it's fucking lame. But like you guys are putting energy into your shit. Like we're putting energy into our shit. Like we're making it cool and giving it value. And I think a big part of it too is like being transparent about what that money goes to. Like that's like a thing that I do every night at the end of the VIP is like I just take like a minute and I'm like, guys, like we appreciate this. This is what this money is going to. Like, I want to be fucking Willie Nelson and doing this in my 70s. And like, the only way we can do that is if like the money makes sense and we're touring in a relatively safe and comfortable way, and like, that's what this money goes to.
Yeah, exactly. I saw an article they posted like, hey, if anybody wants to donate for a hotel room tonight. I think that's so cool. I think that's like, that might be like the new way to do things, as far as being an independent touring band, especially in the beginning, where you're making friends, you're staying at people's houses, things like that. We did all that shit, sleeping on floors and stuff. But like now it's like people are so excited and willing to support, and they're so hospitable. And this is like a new way to do it. Like they can send you Venmo.
Yeah. Fucking Venmo is a game changer, dude. Like, yeah.
It's huge. It's like, oh, hey man, hotel rooms on me tonight. Like that is awesome.
Dude, so I had to buy a new van. So like we've been doing the 2-van things because like we're just becoming like a fucking football team worth of our touring party and shit. So like when we're not in the bus, like we need 2 vans. And I had a van. We were in Ocean City over the summer, and I don't know if you've ever been down there when this shit happened, but it was like this insane summer storm that came through, and I guess it happened during high tide. But dude, the city became like a fucking lake, dude. And I was like driving down Coastal Highway because I was seeing a friend, and it was like I drove into this storm and it was unavoidable. There was just like fucking lakes of water, and I ended up driving one of these vans through some standing water. And just ever since August at this point, I've had the van in the shop like 7 times, and it was just there was some crazy electrical problem that could not get fixed. Yeah. So like I was going to a show last Friday, and I just got it out of the shop, and the same fucking problem happened. So I kind of snapped, and I was like, I'm buying a fucking van tomorrow. Like, fuck this. You know what I mean? And like I did, and I went in and I financed like 2/3 of it. Had to put down like 10 grand, but like, I had to drop like 30 grand, like fucking that, because I just had to, because we had these 2 huge shows that I needed reliable transport for. And I mentioned it like at the end of the night at Pittsburgh. I was like, guys, like I had to buy a fucking van last week, and it was expensive. So like if you buy merch, that helps us out. And some dude fucking walked up to the merch table and gave us a check for $1,000 because of the new van, which is like fucking incredible. But like it's just like it's like what I was saying, like the music thing, it's such a special thing to people. And like a lot, like the guy was briefly telling me what he was doing, and he's like, he does like crazy like investing, and it's like I just don't think money's a thing for him. So for him $1,000 is like nothing. For me, it's like that's fucking huge, dude. Like that was incredible. Like
it's a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like but yeah, people want to help, and they want to be a part of this thing, and it means a lot to them. So it's just a matter of like making just putting it out into the universe. Like, yeah, like this is what we need,
Yeah, we are super grateful for anybody that has ever done anything like that for us, man. Like I'll randomly get hits to the Ballyhoo Venmo, just like, hey, thanks for just doing what you do. Like it blows my mind, you know, to have that kind of infrastructure of like caring, cool people. You know, and it's like I hear about all the bad shit in the world. It's like, man, people can be so hospitable. And we discovered all that kindness, you know, years ago when we first started touring. It was just seeing the humanity, you know, sleep on my couch, fucking you drink my beer, here's a shower, like, can I make you breakfast? You know, that kind of stuff. Like, the fans are definitely the whole reason we're able to do this shit.
Yeah. I think, a big part of the success in the last year is like, I kind of just like gave up on a lot of, I was like chasing a carrot for a long time where I was like looking for acceptance in this thing. Like this is the only band I've ever been in. I mean, I know Ballyhoo is the only band you've ever been in too, but like, it's also like, I started much later than you. Like I was like in my early 20s and I was just figuring all this out as I went along. And like a lot of it for me was like, yeah, like I was like looking for acceptance. Cause like, I was like, I wanted to feel like I was in a band, you know, for lack of a better description. I wanted to feel like a real musician in a real band. And I was like looking for acceptance and to be like a part of a thing. And like, to me, like a lot, that whole thing was like being accepted by like the Southern California, like scene and whatever. And, a lot of decisions I made for a long time were like based around that and like trying to crack into this thing. And like, just something kind of like just snapped in me in the last year. I think a lot of it was like losing my dad and just like accepting, you know, because I think a lot of in life, like a lot of things I was doing, like I was like looking for acceptance from him and like trying to make him proud and like you lose that as a possibility. And I don't know if that makes sense, but like it led to like a lot of other shit, you know, like just like something eventually clicked in me where I was like, man, fuck that. I don't need acceptance from anyone. All I need to do is make a living. Like, and it allowed me to kind of like let go of that whole mentality. It's like, I just don't fucking care anymore about like any of that shit. I don't care what anyone thinks. The only thing I care about is like the fucking fans, like our fans and what they think and what they're going to do. And if they're going to continue to support us and like knowing the support that we have from Ugly's Nation and our particular world is what gave me the confidence to, because it was a huge kind of thing for me, like being like letting go of that thing and really just being like, fuck it. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to be a fucking boat in the ocean that's just doing my own thing. And I'm going to be totally independent and just do my own fucking thing. And it was a really scary thought to have to like wrap my head around. But like the thing that gave me the confidence to do that was the fans, you know, and it's like, that's not, I don't put that lightly because it's like, it's like I have a fucking mortgage and a family. Like I have like 10 other people that I'm responsible for. And like, I was going all in on the confidence that I have on our fans. You know what I mean?
And I love that. I love that. And we've talked about this before lots of times, you know, in private or whatever, but just like having, you know, having those realizations when it's like, you know what, like, I don't need to, you know, change anything to try to fit with, you know, the sound or whatever, this mold that's been created or, you know, whatever, this sort of, I think like there's room for all of us. And I think there's just so many, there's 8 billion people in the world. It's like, you know, you can cut out your own little spot and you can, you know, grow that. And you don't need to get in front of these bigger bands, fans to do that. Like there's the way that you guys have been doing it has been like organic and I think that's, you know that you're building a strong community that's real. And I'm not saying that, you know, opening for bigger bands doesn't have its advantages. Of course it does. You know, it's like, a lot of times you go to these shows, you see people in the crowd wearing like every band that you know on their shirt. You know, it's like this is all connected. If they haven't heard of you already, at least, you know, they're getting to see you. And maybe you pull away 10% of them. You know, maybe you're like, oh shit, you got some fans. But the way that you're doing it, it's like you're keeping you're staying focused. You're keeping your head to the ground. You're moving forward. You're not worried about what's going on the outside anymore. It's like, I don't need that. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, because what you guys do is great. And I'm sure you know that, and your fans know that. And you're going to keep finding more people. More people are going to find you guys because of that, and it's not going to be this superficial thing. I always worried about, like, we had this problem, like, back, especially like the early 2000s or early 2010s, where we like, I was always trying to write for radio. Like, I was always trying to write, like, I write what I write, it's like, it's poppy shit, it's whatever. But like, I remember like really focusing on like trying to write for radio, because we got some radio ads, and it was like, oh shit, like this is like, okay, like we're going to lean into that, but then you realize how fake it is and how fucking hard it is to like stay there. We had ads, like, man, we were selling out shows. Like, we were like, shit was popping, and then it's like, I don't know. And you might retain some people from that, like some fans, whatever. But like, it got to a point where it started feeling like we're missing out on this thing that's happening on the ground. And people might be overlooking us because, I don't know. If it was our the way we're portraying ourselves or what. I think about this a lot. And it's interesting to me.
I think people are fickle, and especially like in that world, like in the radio world, because it's like there's definitely like there's two types of people. Like there's like the fans, like what you're describing with like the Ballyhoo hooligans and Uglies. Sorry,
use your words.
I've never. And then Uglies Nation, where it's like those people are like all in on what we're doing. You know what I mean? And they're part of this thing. They're invested. And then there's people who like hear. Okay, so like remember Robin Thicke and Blurred Lines? How like you heard that fucking song like everywhere for like an entire year.
Yeah.
And then that motherfucker, I haven't thought about him in 15 years or whatever at this point. And it's like that dude was killing it. He was like on every festival and whatever. But like as soon as that single's not like the single anymore, like people move on and they stop selling tickets. And it's like, I was talking about that with someone in regards to Reggae Rise of Maryland, which was fucking like the coolest thing in the world.
Great show, man.
But like, it was cool because like, I don't know. I mean, that was like a big deal for y'all as well, like being from Maryland. But like for me, like I saw a lot of people there that I knew that I don't see at shows, because like they're not like, they're fans of music, but like they're not like crazy fans of music. They're not like Uglies Nations or Ballyhooligans, like there are people that go to music shows on Friday or Saturday. You know what I mean? Like there's like, that's like a whole fucking world, like the young professionals and just like, they're just into doing cool shit and like drinking some beers and like listening to music. And that's like, it's the same kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like the festival crowd, the like people who are into like the radio single that's hot. Like they just want to like, they're not going to like obsess about music, but they enjoy music. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. And that's where, that's what radio is. Like you just described it. It's like, they call it like fair weather. It's like, it's just people that like, oh, this is cool, but like they don't really dig into your band. Some will for sure, and we've had like, super fans since the beginning for sure. That's definitely, I can name people right now that have been with us for 10 years plus. But I just felt like there was I came to this decision a few years ago, where it was like, I don't like where this is headed. I don't like, I want to write what I want to write. And no matter what I do, it's going to come out, super melodic and poppy and hooky and all that shit. It's just the kind of shit I like to write, I grew up listening to radio, and, but I wasn't going to make any more attempts to try to be that, to try to, I'll still send our songs to old, to people, radio people that I still associate with, to still talk to from time to time. And they'll hit me up. Hey man, send me the new track. I'm like, cool. You know, so we'll get spins on radio stations around the country. But I'm not going to do like a full campaign. Like I'm not paying for radio campaigns anymore. Like we did all that shit and we spent so much fucking money. I mean, we spent $20,000 in 10 months on no good, trying to get that shit off the ground back in 2013, 2014, whatever it was. And it was just like so much fucking money wasted, you know, when it could have went into real marketing, doing ads or something, or paying people to talk about the band or something, rather than trying to spend it on fucking radio that didn't give a shit about it, you know? It's crazy to think about all the money that we spent, you know, and all the, like, we were never given money. Like this was like, you know, we definitely did we did like a Kickstarter for Warped Tour. We did pledge music for the girls record, but we've never been like given money free and clear just to like, hey, go, you know, here you go guys, go, you know, we've never had that. We've always had to make our money, and we've worked really hard for everything, you know? And just you know, looking back, it's like the team that we had in place just wasn't connected. They didn't have relationships. We're building all the relationships ourselves and then just passing off work to them to be done. And we just had the wrong team and the wrong approach.
Well, dude, that's a whole, I want to let you finish, but that's a whole other conversation that is like, I want to talk like there's a whole fucking. Never mind. Finish your thought, and then I'll say what I'm thinking.
Okay. I just, you know, that was probably it, but it was just, I just felt like we were missing out on something. There's something that isn't clicking. It's not like, for example, like, you know, I always heard like playing Nelson Ledges was like, you know, the shit, and it is super cool place. And the crowd is just nuts. You know, the crowd is just fucking nuts there. But like I always heard like, you know, oh dude, you play there once, bro, you're gonna have fucking lifers, bro. And I've heard that a few times. I haven't felt that. I haven't seen that. It's like it's a different world or something. Like we're not like, I've always felt like we're too pop for the reggae world. We're too reggae for the pop world. We're not punk enough. We're not rock enough. We're always like somewhere in the middle, or just not enough or too much of something. And it's never the right concoction. And I've never seen like a huge return from playing things like Nelson Ledges or you know, Peach Festival, like the more jammy stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's a certain thing you got to have that. And you guys have that.
We're crunchier than y'all are.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. We got that granola side to it, you know?
Granola. Yeah, man. It's like, you know, Stupid has it, you know, like bands like you guys have that. We don't have that. I don't know. There's something like we try to be too polished probably in you know, in the last 10 years. And it was just same thing, chasing the carrot, you know. Oh, look, fucking radio's playing us. This is it. We got to do this, you know. Let's look the look. Let's walk the walk, you know. And it's like, not that I was ever being fake, you know, but it was like, it just felt like maybe we were overdoing it or something. And I don't know, man. You could probably pummel yourself into the ground thinking about this shit, but you just got to go with what you can do now. Just move forward from now, you know?
Yeah. And that's all I mean, it's like, I was talking to someone about this the other day, but like music, like this whole thing is like linear. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't like ever, dude, I've done so many fucking things wrong, and they eventually led me to something that like, and every wrong decision like leads you to eventually figuring out the right way to go. So it's like, that's all you can do. I think. But like what you were saying earlier, man, like what I've found is that like we're fucking, you and I are like songwriters and creators, and like we're the most important part of the music industry. But then there's people in the music industry that make money off of us.
Yeah.
And like there is no right or wrong way to do this shit. Like is the one thing I've learned. There's no fucking formula to this shit. There's just like there's creating music, and then sometimes that shit connects with people. And like the whole like money side of this is trying to like establish a formula to that. Like, well, okay, like, because it's like, it's such a fucking weird thing trying to make a living out of doing this thing. Like, it's just total anarchy and uncertainty. You know what I mean? And we're trying to like have stability to it. And then like, it's provided to you like in a lot of ways. It's like, well, if you do this, if you do radio, then that's going to lead to fucking fans. And if you sound like this, if you work with this producer, and it's just that all that shit is just bullshit. It's like the only thing that matters. I truly think the thing that connects with people more than anything is like authenticity. Like they can just fucking smell it. Like if you're doing something that like feels right and like comes from your soul, like people will feel that shit. And I don't know. I forget the point that I was trying to make, but like
we were talking.
I know exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about like teams and things and having the right people in place. For a second there, like,
it's like it's the confidence with which people will tell you that shit. It's like, oh, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and you don't know any better. So you're like, okay, yeah, like, you're the manager. Like, fucking, let's spend fucking $20,000 on this, and then like, it's done, and it's like, oh man, well that didn't work. Well, fuck you, dude. Like that's your fucking job, is to like know that, like, and you just spent my money. Like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, it's like. There's no advice to like cut the losses 5 months in and just be like, hey, let's spend 10 grand instead of 20, like let's figure something out. I don't know. That shit's weird. Look, man, I'm like, you said something about, the team making money and things like that. I'm totally fine. I'm sure you're totally fine with people making money from your band's business, right?
Absolutely.
But pull your fucking weight, do your job, do something.
Yes.
Right. It's like, you're getting checks every fucking week.
What's the value? Like, what is your value to the operation? Like, what are you fucking doing?
What do you bring?
Like, yeah, like it's just, it's a meritocracy as far as I'm concerned. Like, what is that check going to? And it's like, if I can't like fucking like wrap my mind around it, then it's like, what the fuck? Like,
feels like fucking nepotism to me. It's like, look, man, they say that's all who you know. Like, I sound like a fucking old man now. Look, they say it's all who you know, and it's fucking true. It's another way of saying relationships are important. Relationships are super important. Like, you gotta fucking know the right person to get that shit on the radio, to get that, to get those big things, it's.
But then the thing is, it's like what you were saying though. Even if you get that radio shit, it's fleeting. Like, the way I think of it is like, it all comes. The thing that like for, I think we're both lifers at this point. Like we love what we do and we want to do it forever. And the thing that makes that possible is the core diehard fans. You know what I mean? So like, I think every decision I make is like based off like, how am I going to reach more people, and then how am I going to convert them into lifelong fans? And like radio is a big part of that. Like we've never had any radio, but that would be just a great avenue. Like the thing that's worked the best for me that I found like a million years ago is just like the live streams. Like it's the stupidest and the easiest thing to do in the world, but people fucking love it. And like, it allows me to talk to them and then like, like
you
build
converse.
And then you direct them to this thing, and then that's like a great farming thing. Like, let's just call it a farming thing.
Yeah.
So like there's multiple different ways of like farming. Like there's for me, that's like a great thing. Radio is another thing like that you could farm people to potentially do that. Like the support tours is another thing, another way to farm that shit. Like there's marketing, like just paid marketing is another way to farm that shit. But like ultimately it's like, what are you going to do with those people that you touch? And it's like converting them to that thing where they're going to follow you regardless is the most important thing. And the point I was trying to make is like, there's probably like dozens of different ways to get to that path, but ultimately it's like getting to that path. That's the important thing. You don't need to take all of the ways. You just need to find a few ways that work for you.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point I was trying to make.
Your live stream is fucking great. Like I'll tune in sometimes and you've got like 150 people, 170 people watching on Facebook. It's like, it's incredible. Like that's not easy to do. But it's the fact that you've just been doing it for so long and it's expected and it's just people just know to go there. You've built that thing, and, I remember back in the day, like, me, I was streaming on I was streaming on Stage It like 2012, 2013. And, you know, I'd have like, I was super stoked when I had like 18 or 20 people watching. I was like, this is awesome. Like, there's like 20 people, you know, and make a little bit of money and, you know, whatever. But this is back in the infancy of, you know, live streaming. But nowadays it's become quite more the norm. And as far, you know, gamers been doing it for years, but like, I think as far as like you and I, like musicians, like doing that, it's still relatively new. I don't see a lot of people doing it. Or maybe I'm just not looking, but,
well, it's weird. Like it's a weird thing to do. Like you have to get comfortable talking to yourself.
Yeah.
But it's super successful if you can do that and you can manage to like not make it awkward, which I think we both do a good job of. I mean,
I hate empty space. Like I hate going to a dinner and there's no music playing. Like I don't like awkward silences. I think a lot of us don't, but I'm like aware of it. Then I'm just like, I'll walk in immediately, like dentist office this morning. I just came back from a dentist appointment. I'm sitting in there and it's just fucking quiet. And then they call me back and I'm in the back room. And it's just quiet. I'm like, I mean, play some holiday music. I don't give a shit. Play some fucking Christmas songs. You know, like something.
You're about to hear this drill, motherfucker.
But like, so like on my streams, I've got this cool little nifty Rodecaster device and I can play music. I got sound effects. I like doing that shit. It's fun. I always like production value. That's just how I am, man. I just like fucking doing fun shit like that, and people laugh.
Well, you're like so smart with that shit, dude. Like for me, I can't even like it would be like a whole thing for to even try to incorporate that.
Yeah, it's definitely like producing your own show. Like at that level it's a little weird sometimes, and I'll fuck things up, but it's live television, whatever. But yeah, I think you know, doing the live streams is super effective. I saw a guy on Facebook a couple days ago talking about like, I'm ready to take all my music off of Spotify. Like, fuck all this, they don't pay us.
Why?
I'm like, bro, do not do that. Whatever you do, do not take your music off streaming platforms. That'd be the dumbest thing you could do. It's like, this is how people consume. This is how people listen. On the consumer side, it's fucking amazing. You're paying $10, you know, and you're hearing everything. On the artist side, you can't look at it from the money side. It's fucking awesome for artists too. We never made a bunch of money from music. You know, now look, back in the CD baby days, 2000s, we were crushing it, you know, I remember making like $3,000 a month on Cheers, you know, when we put that out independently, CD baby. That was good money. You know, we were fucking broke, you know, that was good money. But like nowadays, there's so many ways to monetize your thing, your brand, your craft, whatever. And I think people just they're not thinking outside the box. And all these easy things that we can do, like you just described, live streaming, you know, for one, it's like, don't worry about the money shit. It's like, be stoked that you can send a link to anyone and within seconds they're listening to your song. Like we didn't have that. We didn't have that shit. You know, when I started putting out records, like it was like I'm mailing a CD and it takes a week and a half to get there and you might listen to it. You know, it's like shit is crazy now, you know, and you can't look at it from the money side. And I get it. It's like you feel devalued as a songwriter. You're like, fuck, man, like, is it really worth 0.0003 cents or whatever? But like, I just tell people like, yo, keep growing your catalog, keep releasing music. You love what you do, right? So just keep doing it. Keep your head down, grow the catalog. It does make a difference. All the while, with every release, you're getting people hyped. You should be growing out. You should be getting more people, attracting more people. You need to be live streaming. You need to be fucking playing shows. You need to be doing show swaps with other bands in different towns. All of the things, man. Doing merch drops. Like, you gotta find ways to monetize. And if you can't, then, you know, shit isn't going to grow and you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And don't take your shit off the streaming platforms.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like you're like, I understand the principle of it, but it's like, that's like the biggest, I mean, YouTube's like the biggest way people listen to music or content in general, but Spotify's fucking up there. Like just like specifically music, I think is it's gotta be top 3.
Spotify is, I believe, is like the top thing, like is the top music platform, I think. But definitely over Apple. Pandora is like the one that's like really killing it as well. But
I just know YouTube is like, it's like the biggest something in the world. I think it might be the biggest way people consume content in general.
It's the second largest search engine, next to Google, and Google owns it. So it's like Google wins both places. Yeah. But yeah, YouTube is a whole other world, and I'm really loving YouTube. Ever since I started going in on it, it's been really cool. It's been, I don't know. That's another thing is like, not only are you doing live streams, but you're monetizing your live stream because people are super chatting or sending Venmo on the side because they know Google takes 30% like their yachts aren't big enough. And you're building fan bases that way. You're fortifying your fan base. It's like you're people are coming in and you're just making it stronger because you're connecting. And I get the same regulars every week. And this past week, we're getting closer to 100 concurrent. Like for a long time, it was 40 or 50. You can see. And this last couple weeks, especially, has been around 90, which is rad. And then you're getting like 300-400 views throughout the night because not everybody's watching the whole time. People chime in for 10 minutes, come back later, that kind of thing.
But then people come through and like they look at the shit too, like weeks down the road, man. Like
that's what people don't understand. You just pointed it out. It's like your music on Spotify, Apple, your videos, your live streams on YouTube. If you're monetized on those platforms, that's just free money. Like I'm making money while I'm asleep, because someone somewhere is watching my video. Now, it might not even be $1. They'll watch a whole live stream and it won't be $1. But like, it's all about growing the catalog and the library and having enough stuff out there to, and it does make a difference. So like when I get a check from YouTube, from Google every month, it's pretty solid, because it includes the super chats and the ads and revenue and all that.
Past the money side of it, it's just like good content to have out there, man. Like I check all the comments on our shit and like I'll see, like every once in a while I get a comment on a live stream that I did like 2.5 years ago or some shit. And someone's like, this is the best one you've ever done. It's like, God damn, you're insane. Like you're just sitting there like going through these and shit. And like, but it's cool. You know what I mean? Like they hear like different arrangements of like, you're just playing a song a certain way at a time or whatever. And it just hits different, or like, and then like, for me, it's like my kids like pop in on shit every once in a while if they're up and stuff. So it's like you see like these moments, and that's like there forever. Like it's just cool. Like it's cool shit to have out there.
It is, man. Yeah, I love you brought that up. Like like the family and stuff. Like so many times I'm sitting down here doing the stream, and like Halo comes down. It's bedtime, and she's like, "Hey, I gotta go to bed." I'm like, "All right, baby, I love you." And it's like this little moment we had, away from that. And everybody in the chat's like, "Oh," and little heart eyes and things.
But then you as a father get to see that in a few years, like, and you're like, God damn, look at her at that age.
I know, dude. I was, I'll do some vlogging sometimes, and recently I was checking out some old vlogs because I like to watch my old shit just to kind of see what I can learn from it, like as how I can do it better, things like that. Man, this one dude, Halo comes running in the room. She's like fucking 4 or something. I'm just like, oh my God, like she's so little, It's just wild. It's wild. But yeah, if you're not taking advantage of these platforms, there's plenty of videos about how to grow your band or how to grow on YouTube or whatever, how to get listeners, how to get viewers. Like there's plenty of videos about that, but it's really simple, man. It's not as hard as people think it is. It's just a matter of like getting up and executing. I've told people about you for a long time now. I've said, Brandon is, and I envy this fucking hard. Brandon Hardesty is good at having a plan, creating a plan, and then executing that plan. You know what I'm saying? Like you're really good at like getting the shit done that you want to get done. And
I'm also like a bull in the china shop though, where it's like I'm not like I just don't really give a fuck if I just don't take no for an answer, and I don't really care who I make mad. And it's like it's not a great quality, it's a good quality in a lot of ways, but it's like I'm really good at pissing people off too, which is not something I need to work on, but it just is what it is.
There might be better ways to do things, get things done, but nah, man, I just admire it, I envy it, admire it, whatever, but it's a good thing. Cause I always have like, problems where I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then I fucking don't, or it just doesn't get done in the timely fashion that I like. But you're always just like, all right, we're doing this. And it's like a week later or 2 weeks later, like, all right, here it is. This is the thing. I'm like, this is incredible. Good job. Like that's what it takes, man. That's what it takes. I feel like you're a guy that you're not going to wait around. You're not waiting around for permission or, you're just going to fucking go do what you want to do. And I think that's fucking huge. More people need to be like that. I need to be more like that,
You're like, I feel like you're way more of a creative than I am though. I'm only good at a few things. And then like, I just like, one of the things I'm good at is like, I'm pretty good at figuring out ways to make money out of like the few things that I'm good at. So then like when I have an idea with something, I'm like, I'm fucking doing this. And then I just do it. You know what I mean? Where it's like something I've noticed about you is like, you like find something that like interests you. And then you learn like fucking everything about it. And then you get good at that. And like, you're very good at that. I wish I was better at that. Like, I really can only do like a few things, and I'm pretty good at the things that I do, but I struggle with like learning new shit,
I feel like for myself, I feel like it's a gift and a curse. Like I'm so interested in a lot of things, specific things, but it's a lot of things and I want to do all of it. It's like a couple years ago, I tweeted, it was like the new year, you always have these stupid resolutions and you fail immediately. But like I'm going to learn Unreal Engine this year. I'm going to spend the year learning Unreal Engine. And for anybody that doesn't know, it's a video game developing platform. So like Resident Evil and, all these, there's a lot of games. I think Arkham Knight, there's a ton of games, all these open world games, things like that. They're all built on Unreal Engine. And that's how they look amazing and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to learn this. It's like, no, you fucking not. Like, this is crazy. Like, I've never dipped into it once, like I've never, like, you're going to learn this. You also want to put out records and have a family and like go on tour and like fucking create t-shirt designs and what, so it's like, for me, it's like, I got to fucking tell myself to pick a lane sometimes and stay there, A hobby is one thing, I guess, but goddamn, it's like, you also got to be, I know that I got to be like fully focused on this, but I want to do everything.
Yeah.
I hate it. Anyway, damn, man. Well, fucking appreciate you coming on the show, talking about shit, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
What's going on next for you guys? What's 2023 look like?
We're taking, we got like a weekend in January and a weekend in February. Then we're doing like 2 weeks in the Southeast, fucking 311 cruise.
Hell yeah, baby.
Then a national. And then I'm writing right now. Like I'm writing a lot, and then I'm hoping to get back in the studio and record a bunch of shit and just repeat until I'm dead,
That's
what
great.
about you guys?
That's great, man. Yeah, same. We're just we got a couple shows in January, and then we're doing like a small local thing in Baltimore. It's like 250 cap, real intimate. Grab your tickets now, and then we're leaving for tour like the 1st of February, and then taking off. Going to be gone for about 5 weeks, something like that. We're taking a bunch of bands. We got Joey Harcum, we got Joint Operation. Got fucking Audic Empire. We got
Maryland Boys.
Cloud9
Vibes.
I
love it.
Oh, it's great. Mike Pinto. Like it's gonna be a good tour, man. This is one thing I've been excited because we haven't done a whole lot of headlining tours. Like it's always been like support or like one-offs, and it's like now we get to like really focusing on doing like the headliner thing next year, and like we get to take bands out again, and it's like we get to I love that. I want to be able to like put bands on, you know? So that's one thing I've always wanted to do. So I'm happy that we're kicking it off this way.
Hell yeah.
But, well, shit, man. I'm sure you got plenty of things to do today, except talk to me. Appreciate you coming on the show. And everybody go listen to Bumpin' Uglies. Go check out Brandon's live stream. You're doing every, Tuesday night?
Yeah, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday if I get hemmed up on Tuesday.
Oh, right on. Yeah, go check out all their stuff, man. They're great. They're growing. You get in now. Get in now while you can. Because these guys are going places, man. I'm fucking happy for you. It's been really great to see your growth, bro.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. All right, take it easy,
I learned
dude.
it all from you, Howie. I learned it all from you.
Hey, my son. All right, dude. Later.
No, for real, dude. I tell everybody all the fucking time, man. Like, no one's really ever done us any favors except for you and Joey Harcum. And Pacifier took us on a tour, too, which was really cool, too. But other than that, like, I've learned infinite shit from you. You've been just like an infinite well of knowledge, and I just really appreciate it.
Ah, dude. You know I love this shit. I love you guys. Cool, man. Well, take it easy. Have a wonderful day.
All right, brother.
Later, everybody. This has been episode number 156, I think, of Tales from the Green Room podcast. And go buy my shit, HowieSpangler.com. Go buy Ballyhoo shit, BallyhooRocks.com. Go buy tickets. We got VIP packages, all the fun stuff. And we'll see you real soon, man. It's almost Christmas. Woo. Oh, shit. All right, later.